wonder what it might be like to live in a historic mansion? Well, here's your chance. Looking over the town of Eugene, Oregon, sits the Castle on a Hill, the historical landmark known as the Shelton McMurphey Johnson home. Originally owned by Dr. Thomas Winthrop Shelton, his wife Ada, and their daughter Alberta, who moved to Eugene from Salem, Oregon after purchasing 320 acres of land, including that of Skinner Butte, from its original owner, Mary Cook Skinner Packard. Dr. Shelton commissioned the architect Walter Pugh to design the home with builder Nels Roney. The home was originally completed in 1887, yet was set ablaze by an aggravated workman who confessed on his deathbed. Thus, the home was rebuilt and completed in 1888 for $8,000. On the western side of the house, the year 1888 is prominently displayed. Thomas, Ada, and Alberta took up residence. In Minnesota, at a Christian Endeavor conference, Alberta would meet her future husband, Robert McMurphey. They would marry in the parlor of her home. Her father, Thomas, would live in his home until 1893, when he would die of leukemia. At that time, his wife, Ada, gave the house to her daughter, Alberta, and her husband. And then Ada moved to Portland. Alberta and Robert would have 6 children, 4 daughters and 2 boys. 3 of their daughters would be married in the same place as their parents. The McMurphey home was not one of privilege, but an active farmstead with horses, cows, and chickens, with all the children attending to them. The children also were busy with household chores, such as dusting and bringing in the wood from the cellar through the dumbwaiter in the kitchen. The home was also very musical, as Alberta had studied at a piano conservatory at the University of Oregon, and she taught piano lessons in her home. In addition, her children were often heard practicing music and learning to sew their own clothes. In 1921, Robert McMurphey died in Roseburg, Oregon. Alberta would remain in her home and remain active in the community an additional 28 years. She would die in 1949 in a Portland nursing home. At the time of her death, the 6 children declined to take the home, and thus it was sold to Dr. Ava Johnson along with her husband, Curtis, for $30,000. Ava was born in Pendleton, Oregon. But after her father's tragic death in the Blue Mountains, she and her mother moved to Eugene. They moved in with her grandmother in the Campbell house, located just around the corner from the Shelton McMurphey house. So Ava grew up in the light of the castle on the hill. Ava was good friends with the McMurphey children and spent much time in their home. Thus, her purchasing the home was close to keeping it with the original family. Ava met her husband, Curtis, at Rush Medical School in Chicago, Illinois. The two would have 4 children, 3 daughters and 1 son. They would practice medicine for 25 years in Madison, Wisconsin. Ava worked in psychology and Curtis in the U.S. Army, most notably as a pediatrician to General Douglas MacArthur's son. When he was honorably discharged in 1950, the two moved to Eugene and set up offices in their new residence, the Castle on the Hill. When they moved in, they began remodeling a portion of the house when another fire occurred. They would continue the remodel once the fire damage had been cleaned up. But all was not rosy for the Johnsons and their new home. Curtis spent much of his time unhappy, hiding himself away in the turret attic. One time he locked himself in, so he had to break a hole in the door in order to unlock and set himself free. In 1966, Ava sold 3.25 of the acreage to a company promising to build retirement homes, which would later become the Yapa'e Terrace homes next door. In 1967, Curtis would die, leaving Ava alone. She would continue to reside in the home, renting out rooms to university students. In 1975, Ava would offer her home to her children, who declined the offer. Thus, she made a deal with Lane County Historical Society that they would take ownership of the home upon her death. She would die in 1986 at the age of 97. The home was transferred from Lane County to the city of Eugene. In the summer of 2017, the independent thriller film In Her Blood was filmed in the home. One of the cast members was Ava Schwartz, alongside myself and others. Sadly, Ava passed away on January 19, 2025 at the age of 20. Thus, this video is dedicated to her.